The Middle East is once again witnessing a dangerous rise in tensions as the confrontation between Iran and Israel continues to develop into one of the most serious geopolitical crises in recent years. Over the past 24 hours, the situation has remained extremely tense, with new reports of military movements, missile alerts, air defense activity, and political warnings coming from multiple countries across the region. According to regional sources and international observers, both Iran and Israel have placed their military forces on heightened alert as fears grow that the current confrontation could escalate further if retaliatory actions continue. Late last night, several loud explosions were reported near important military and industrial areas inside Iran, where witnesses described flashes lighting up the night sky, followed by thick smoke rising above the outskirts of the city. While officials did not immediately confirm the exact nature of the strikes, analysts believe that the attacks were likely targeting locations believed to be linked with missile storage or drone development facilities, which have become a central focus of Israel's security concerns in recent years. Shortly after the explosions were reported, Iranian air defense systems were activated across multiple regions, and military radar installations began monitoring the skies closely for additional threats. Iranian officials later stated that their defense systems were able to detect and intercept several incoming threats, though independent confirmation of the extent of the damage remains unclear. Meanwhile, tensions rapidly spread beyond Iran's borders as Israeli authorities announced that their own air defense systems have been activated following reports of potential missile launches toward Israeli territory. Residents in several cities reported hearing air raid sirens late at night, prompting thousands of people to move quickly toward shelters and protected areas, while emergency services prepared for possible impact zones. Bright streaks of light were reportedly seen crossing the night sky as interception systems attempted to neutralize incoming threats before they could reach populated areas. Although most of the missiles were reportedly intercepted, authorities confirmed that debris from interception explosions fell in several areas, causing minor damage and increasing anxiety among civilians who have already been living under the shadow of potential escalation for several days. The situation became even more complicated when reports began emerging that armed groups aligned with Iran and neighboring countries were also increasing their military readiness. In southern Lebanon, Hezbollah fighters were reportedly seen mobilizing equipment and positioning rocket launch systems closer to the border, raising fears that a second front could open if the confrontation continues to intensify. Israeli reconnaissance drones and aircraft were later spotted flying near the border areas as part of surveillance operations designed to monitor potential threats from across the frontier. Military analysts say that this kind of activity often indicates preparation for possible escalation, though both sides appear cautious about triggering a full-scale regional conflict. At the same time, international powers have started paying very close attention to every development taking place in the region. The United States has reportedly increased surveillance flights and naval patrols in nearby waters as part of efforts to monitor the situation and support regional stability. Several European governments have also issued statements urging restraint and calling for diplomatic solutions, warning that further escalation could have serious consequences not only for the Middle East, but also for global security and economic stability. Energy markets around the world have already begun reacting to the growing tensions, with analysts pointing out that any disruption in the Gulf region could potentially affect global oil supply routes and international trade. Inside Iran, daily life has become increasingly uncertain for many residents as rumors of further airstrikes and military activity continue circulating across social media and news channels. Some citizens reported hearing military aircraft flying overhead during the night, while others described increased security presence near strategic locations and infrastructure facilities. Emergency services and hospitals have reportedly been placed on standby as authorities prepare for the possibility of additional incidents. Meanwhile, in Israel, the government has continued to hold high-level security meetings involving military commanders and intelligence officials who are carefully evaluating possible scenarios that could unfold in the coming days. Defense systems remain fully active and military units have been positioned strategically to respond quickly to any further threats. Experts observing the situation say that the current stage of the confrontation is extremely sensitive because both countries appear determined to demonstrate strength while at the same time trying to avoid a direct full-scale war that could involve multiple nations across the region. The involvement of proxy groups, advanced missile technology, and modern drone warfare has made the situation even more unpredictable, increasing the risk that a single miscalculation could trigger a much larger conflict. Humanitarian organizations are also beginning to express concern about the potential impact on civilians if the situation continues to deteriorate. Large cities across the region are home to millions of people who could be affected if military exchanges intensify, and emergency response teams are already preparing for possible scenarios involving infrastructure damage or population displacement. For now, the world continues to watch the unfolding events with growing concern as political leaders, diplomats, and military strategists attempt to prevent the crisis from spiraling out of control. The skies over the region remain tense. Defense systems stay on high alert, and both Iran and Israel appear determined to protect their strategic interests while carefully observing each other's next moves. Whether the coming days will bring de-escalation through diplomacy or further confrontation through military action remains uncertain. But what is clear is that the rivalry between these two powerful nations has once again placed the Middle East at the center of global attention, and the developments of the next few days may shape the future security landscape of the region for many years to come.